What should I use to record and edit my podcast? Hello, friend. Thanks for pressing play on this episode of the Brassy Broadcast. I'm Jen Eads. I'm a musician, a student of the creative universe, and a curious girl full of questions. I'm also the head broad in charge at the Brassy Broadcasting Company, where I partner with the creators, the doers, and the makers of the world to put them in the ears, heads, and hearts of new audiences with podcasts and other audio goodness. When you're ready and want more in-depth one-to-one coaching on your podcast workflow, audio quality, or help jumping some other podcasting hurdle, click the link in the show notes. Or go to brassybroad.com/Brass Tacks Podcasting Toolkit. Until December 31st, 2017, it will take you to the Brass Tacks Podcasting Toolkit page, where you can schedule a 1-hour strategy session with me to learn how to get the most out of everything I've packed into this digital toolkit for the special price of $97. This package contains tools, templates, and tactics to help you build a strong foundation to support your podcast, and I'm here to show you how to put it all together. Now let's get back to the question at hand. What should I use to record and edit my podcast? You need a DAW. What's a DAW? It is a digital audio workstation, or in plain non-tech speak, it's the software you use to produce your podcast. You can record straight into your DAW, or you can import audio clips, arrange them, polish the sound, and export your fully produced show into an audio file that you can share with the world. It's critical that you put some time and energy into selecting the right DAW for you because it will significantly impact your workflow. I suggest approaching selecting your DAW much like selecting the gear or hardware that you need to produce your show. Start by determining what it is exactly that you need it to do for you. Here are some considerations that will be helpful in selecting the right DAW for you. Let's start with budget. This is a big one. There are free DAWs like Audacity and GarageBand. There are also some that have monthly subscription rates like Adobe Audition, and there are some that you can just flat outright buy like Logic Pro or Hindenburg. Ease of use is another big consideration. There are some DAWs that are more user-friendly or require less steps to actually get your MP3 out into the world in the exact format that you want it delivered. And devices. What kind of device are you using to record and produce your show? Mac, PC, laptop, desktop, iPad, tablet, smartphone? Will you do production work on more than one device? All of these are things that should be considered when shopping. If you're recording and producing from your phone or tablet, give episode 18 in this series a listen. It's called Podcasting in the Palm of Your Hand, Gear, Apps, and Microphones for Podcasting on the Go. I'm going to share a list with you of some of the more popular DAWs for podcasting. Is this list all-encompassing? No. Is the right DAW for you on this list? I don't know. Answer the questions above to make that determination. I have not used all of these, and I have not used them on every device currently known to man. I'm happy to share with you what my experience has been with the ones that I have used. I encourage you to check them out for yourself. In episode 14 of this series, I shared the power of podcasting communities. Use the folks in these communities as a resource. Ask. Most podcasters are happy to tell you what they use, what they like and don't like about it, and most podcasters are pretty helpful. Let's jump in with Audacity and GarageBand. These are free. Audacity works on Mac or PC, and GarageBand is Mac only. There are a lot of podcasters out there using both of these DAWs to produce their shows. In my limited experience with Audacity, I thought it felt clunky compared to GarageBand. But in all fairness, I started recording and producing music in GarageBand, and I'm a Mac girl, so I have more experience in a GarageBand and Mac environment. I know other podcasters that have been using Audacity since they started producing their shows, and they love it. They could use something with more bells and whistles, but they know it so well, and it's been a part of their workflow for so long that it would be a major disruption and investment of time to learn a new one. Use what you're most comfortable with and what makes sense for you. I recently had the opportunity to play around with GarageBand on a client's iPad, and I was nothing but frustrated. I didn't like the interface, and trying to export the recording out as an MP3 felt darn near impossible. This led to experimentation and getting crystal clear on where this recording and exporting the MP3 fit into his workflow. And we determined that Boss Jock was actually going to be the ideal solution. This is why I encourage you to take some time to get crystal clear on where this recording and production fits into your workflow and know exactly what you need it to do and what devices you are going to be using. If you use Audacity, you will also have to download the lame encoder so that you can convert your recording to an MP3. I've mentioned before in this series that I use Logic Pro for my podcast and music production. It's a more beefed up version of GarageBand. I like it better for editing because it's easier to cut and move audio clips. It also has more effects and other bells and whistles that might be overkill for what you need to do with your podcast. It's available in the App Store. I'm also a big fan of Adobe Audition. It's easy to navigate. It comes with a fantastic plugin for noise reduction to get rid of any annoying background room noise. It has built-in EQ and compressor settings that are a good place to start for seasoning the sound of your show. One of my favorite features of Adobe Audition is the target loudness setting. It helps give your show a consistent sound level, and you can set it for the recommended podcast setting of -16 LUFS. LUFS and target loudness is its own topic of discussion for another day. Hindenburg is a powerful DAW used by most audio journalists. It can get a little pricey, but it's definitely worth checking out. There are different price levels, and they also offer a free 30-day trial and have lots of tutorials. I know audio producers that absolutely swear by Hindenburg. Reaper is another DAW that podcasters are using. I have no experience with it, but wanted to mention it here because I know podcasters that absolutely love it. And Reaper gives you a 60-day free trial, and it has licenses available at different levels that start around $60. This list is by no means all-encompassing. My intent is to give you a few viable options to help you in your research. Now let's talk about devices. What devices are you using to produce your show? Desktop, laptop, tablet, iPhone? Will you be using multiple devices to produce your show? Keep this in mind. Make sure your DAW is available for all of the devices you want to use in your production process. I know, I've shared a lot of things with you in this episode that need to be considered to make sure you get the right DAW for you. If you have questions, you can always email me at jen@brassybroad.com. If you found even the smallest little nugget of wisdom in this episode, share it with a friend that needs to hear it. Don't be stingy. It's up to you to spread the podcast love. Instagram is my jam. You can connect with me there to get the behind the scenes where my podcasting and musical worlds collide. And there are lots of pictures of the dog and cat that run this studio. For my podcasting tutorials, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can find me on YouTube at Jen Eats Brassy. Thanks for listening. Now get out in the world and do some good.